Hey Cancer, welcome to Tourmaline Tarot. We're going to do your November read, see what's going on. If it's yours, you'll know. If it's not yours, you'll also know because it is general. But let's see what messages we can get for Cancer here. All right, kicking it off with Justice. I like this, especially with that eclipse thing we got kicking on here. So, Eight of Cups, then we have Seven of Cups reversed and Eight of Wands. So there is kind of like a rebalancing. There's just a it's not my way or highway in a bad way. It's just if something wasn't the highway you wanted to be on, you're hitting your own highway. You're like GPS recalculating, Cancer recalculating, and I feel like you're going in the direction because you have the Eight of Cups, which is the walking away. Then you have the Eight of Wands, which is we going. In the Seven of Cups reversed, there's a lack of confusion. There's just a decisive, we're doing this, because then you have Justice here backing you, saying like, guess what? If it is some kind of, I'm hearing the word rectify. I know that's not something people just throw around in regular conversation, but something's getting rectified, okay? Let's see what this Eight of Cups is about. Let's see. It's like payback time, but not in that malicious revenge way. It's just like here we go, because then you have Knight of Wands on top of it. There's a confidence to it. Also, it could seem a little impulsive, but it's like it's time. Because when it happens quickly. Like there is no sitting on your tush about it. Because this Eight of Wands, you're a little there in the lederhosen are ready to roll. So what about this for Cancer? All right, and then Two of Cups. Okay, you're heading to something incredibly fulfilling. Whether it's you leaving a relationship for another kind of relationship or leaving a job for a better job. It doesn't always have to be relationships. But you're getting out of something and moving into something like a lot better. Like I'm hearing the Jeffersons theme song, which is always my moving on up. Sorry. You know what I mean, though. Yeah, so Justice, what is that about? What is that about for Cancer? Ooh, come here, babies. All right, so we have the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, there is just, you're starting from a good place, and anything that wasn't working in the good place, you're making it better. It's like, because you already have the nuts and bolts to make stuff good. It might be good right now, but you also know that there's something, maybe this is more for you. Like, this isn't just like for your family. This isn't for outside stuff. This is for you in some way. What is this Knight of Wands about? Seven of Pentacles. You could have been working on something, or you planted the seeds, or you thought about something. There's something that, like, when it's go time, you go. And you're like building better to what you already have. And it's very authoritative. And maybe that rectify word's popping up because it's like anything that wasn't working, it's like you write the course. Like I said, Cancer, recalculating. So what is this Ten of Pentacles about? The Moon. Yeah, there you are. Literally, it's like also that intuition. There's just something pulling you that is bigger than what you may have let on previously. But once you kind of see that thing that pulls you, that says like, now's the time, you go. Like there is no looking over the shoulder. There's no question. And it's really nice and fulfilling. And you kind of get to start something else. But like I said, it doesn't have to be directly relationships. Actually, let's get nosy on that Two of Cups there. What is the Two of Cups about? Hierophant. Okay. There she is. So, Hierophant, yeah, you're doing something. There's commitments. There's something. It could be work, but there is some kind of leveling up, potentially spiritually, because like I said, this feels like it's about you. So doing a relationship read, we have the Whip in the middle, and we have the letter on one side. We read this kind of like a scale, justicey, right? So with the letter, what about, okay. It's a chunk, but it makes sense. So we going with it. Over here on that side, ooh, okay. I'll explain what the ooh's about in a second. I just always like to get my story straight before I go running my mouth. So we have the whip in the middle. That can be, it's about discipline, but it's also it is my sexy card, but at the same time there is something that is harsh, seemingly harsh, but necessary at the same time, discipline, staying on track, being aware, all that kind of stuff. And I don't really get the sexy time stuff because over here you have the letter, and then and these all came out in a chunk. We got the shepherd, the stork, the anchor, and the tower, which is why I took it, because the tower in this deck is like a Hierophant energy. So there is something that you are changing, and the shepherd looks for the opportunity. And remember how the Eight of Wands was communication? Boom. You get some kind of communication. This is literally the same story, just in a different style deck. You find something, you change it, you go. You kind of get yourself grounded, and you do this whole leveling up situation. Like I said, this could be career, this could be spiritually as well. But over here, on this other side of the equation, whatever or whoever this is, there's the cats with the children. Now, the children is a lovely card because it's innocence, it's new beginnings, it's starting stuff off. But with the cats, that's where I get concerned, because the cats, there's a superficialness to them. I love cats, but in this deck, it's more about like, you're petting a cat and everything's lovely, and then they just rip your hand apart. There's an element of someone's being cool until they're not cool. So the new beginning could not be as as genuine, because I was saying it's going to be disingenuous. It's not as like true as you might want it to be. And then with the Clover as the challenge, that's kind of like my short-term Wheel of Fortune card. That's like stuff is moving. And I feel like this other side is kind of leaving things up to luck, leaving things up to whatever, powers that be. But the problem is the chips are falling on your side. They're like, oh, let the chips fall. But the chips are falling off for Cancer. And they're like, what? But the clouds, that does kind of say to me there's stuff that has to happen before you can kind of finally get like an outcome, before you can finally find something where you put your hands on it. So I feel like this part has to play out. You have to get the news. You have to do the moving. You have to do the, bringing home the bacon, whatever it could be, before you finally get like the clarity of exactly how this is going to be. And the eye wanted to go, but so give me something on the clouds. Usually when I get the clouds, that's a card say what they say, you're done. What is that about? Broken mirror. Yeah, there is something that kind of has to, and it's like a Hanged Man energy, but it's not bad luck, as a broken mirror, but you can't put a mirror back together once it's busted. So there is something that has to be seen, or something that has to take place that is kind of like the thing that puts the fork in whatever you're making a move from. And it doesn't have to be bad, but there's just a clarity. Like I said, it's a Hanged Man energy where it's more a perspective shift, where like what has been seen cannot be unseen, and it just kind of shifts you to be like, nah, that's what it is. Because remember, you have the moon back here. There is something that kind of is just underlying intuitively. Now I'm gonna get nosy on this over here. It's not that they want to be a trash panda, but I think, because the ship is longing and there's a desire to do it, but the safe, it's like they're not opening up. And it's like, if you don't open up and do the things, then you don't get the things. So, like, obviously something is important, but they're not putting in the footwork, which concerns me. Yeah, they are just really kind of letting it ride, because you have the sun with the lilies. Now, the lilies, it is like a Wheel of Fortune card. It's destiny, it's fate, etc. And they're going to kind of see, like, guess what? If you're going to let stuff unfold, then it will unfold, So let's see. I don't think it's like big bad secrets or anything like that, but it's like if someone's not giving, and they miss the window, they're going to be feeling kind of dumb, because the challenge is coming to some kind of agreement, meeting in the middle. Because you have all this like forward momentum, and this person's like, I'll just leave it up to whatever. Because what is this about here? The book. There is something, like I said, underlying that it's gonna pop and be like, oh, that's what it doesn't have to be like this big, deep, dark soap opera secret. It could just be kind of like the veil coming off and being like, so that's the reality. So give me something, because I mean, you come out okay. Like, something gives you a nudge and you go. So I would want to see just one more on this broken mirror business. Yeah, you go. This is messages. This is the other message card. This is also very Eight of Wandsy, where you're physically going, and it's going to happen quick. It's not like, sitting around twiddling your thumbs. Now, I didn't really get a whole lot of timing stuff, but I'm feeling like just as many cards came out in between. It's probably going to be mid-month-ish, which is making me itch to do your mid-month read. But yeah, I feel like if the wheels are not already in motion, you'll start seeing the things kind of fall into place. I'd say like maybe 2 weeks. I'd let this full moon clear out. I fully realize how I sound when I say this stuff, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. If anything, the moon probably kicks off the switches that you're going to be seeing. Now we're going to do just an oracle, kind of like little pep talk closeout here. What does Cancer dreams? I love that. Dreams, kind of what you're envisioning, the whole manifestation thing. It doesn't have to be the dreams when you're asleep. It's the dreams that you're like, what would be great if I could do this, this, and this. And then you just kind of, do the stuff that gets you there. Now give me one more on this dreams, just because I'm getting nosy. What about dreams for Cancer? All right. It is Guardian Angel. Yeah, I feel like, there is just kind of a feeling of stuff having your back. And once you get going, you'll see the little road signs that are like, yes, Cancer, keep going. Like, like I said, GPS, recalculating. There's something about that you're going to be making a pretty good switch. So Cancer, that's what we have for November, and I'll talk to you later.